Well, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for remaining tuned on Smart 24. Now, we can catch up on our conversations for each other, and of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Smart24TV. Get on that and comment about the performance of the stocks in Uganda, as of course, we analyze and break down some of these performances here on the show. And what we'll be looking at, for example, other stock markets like Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, but we have very key interest in this market here in Uganda. It's a young market, just over 23, 24 years old, but very vibrant with a very promising activity. And therefore, that's why I want you to get on your Twitter and leave us a comment and get to know how we can actually get to improve our markets here in Uganda. Courtesy of this information is Uganda Securities Exchange. These are our partners here, and they have also pledged their support to see that we grow our capital markets here in Uganda in conjunction with the Capital Markets Authority of Uganda, the body that is mandated to regulate the capital market space in Uganda as well. Now, let's move on with our stock market performance. Like I said, we had several other counters apart from Umeme who had some movement, but as well they had some good activity on the market. Now, the top movers, we are talking about people who actually had very big volumes traded. We had Stanbic Bank Uganda. However, we didn't have the movement in price or changes in price, but we had a very good volume from Stanbic, and we will be looking at Stanbic a little later on as well. Let's first have a look, however, at some of the bottom losers. One of them was Centum. Well, Centum Investment, cross-listed from Kenya, lost yesterday by about 6.13%, and that was a total loss coming to 285.66 Ugandan shillings per price. Now, this company has been trading on the stock market since 2011, the 10th of February, and it trades under the ticker symbol CENT with their international securities identification number of KE000265. They are cross-listed from Nairobi, and definitely one of the biggest companies on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Centum currently is the 13th most valuable stock on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and has a total market capitalization of 190 billion Ugandan shillings, which makes about 0.863% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange equity market. To come to this 285.66, they lost by about 18.67 Ugandan shillings, and that was a 6.13 percentage loss, as we have already seen. And now the company, according to statistics, closed the day before yesterday at 302.99, and this drop significantly came as a result of definitely not much trading, but other factors, of course, are surrounding the markets, especially in Kenya. However, the stock price that was beginning the year 2022 for this counter was 444.82 Ugandan shillings. But in terms of year-to-date performance, the counter has lost 35.8%. Now, that's a very significant decline in price. And this has ranked the company 15th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. As if that is not enough, the shareholders should be worried that the company has lost 6% in terms of stock value in the month of August. And since we are calculating since August 2nd to date, and therefore not much has to be worried about when it comes to investment in Centum. Very poor year-to-date performance, very poor monthly performance as well. When you look at least now, let's look at the volumes they have been able to trade. Centum Investment Company is the 8th most traded stock within the last 3 months. And you're looking at the last 3 months as starting May 27th to August 31st. Within this period, they have traded a total volume of over 109,200 shares. And these shares are valued at 31.7 million shillings just, with an average of only 1,733 traded shares per session. Now, they have only had a volume high of 100,000 that was achieved on the 19th of July 2022. And of course, that is what we can say about Centum Investment Company. Now, when you look at that curve, or the curve on your screen right now, still you're seeing what I've just mentioned, a very poor performance by the company. Honestly, beginning with a price of 4,400 wasn't just, that wasn't all. They still, between the year 2021 and 2022, lost a very good amount of money on the shareholders' money. You can see from prices as high as 550 in the month of October 2021 to 440 something in the month of December. And then opening the month of January 2022 with 444,000. Very significant declines, and the decline is going on and on and on. And of course, this has to be very cautiously taken when you're investing in at least a company like Centum. You must be willing to wait and wait, because you can see, according to that performance, the company has lost a lot of value on the shareholders' money, and we are hoping maybe they'll pick up the fight later on in the year or later on next year. But for now, we're seeing a very significant decline in their performance this year. Away from Centum Investments, the second bottom loser we had on the market was our very own MTN Uganda, one of the very most interesting counters very recently. However, yesterday, unfortunately, came out as a loser after losing about 3.17% of their price valuation. Now, MTN is the youngest listed company on the Uganda Securities Exchange, just about 8 months or so old, 9 months, a matter of fact, because it got listed on the 6th of December 2021 in the famous, one of the most famous IPOs we have had, which was Electronic, one of the very first ones on the African continent, Electronic IPOs, and definitely coming on board with online registration, SCD, creating USSD codes that could be used by people to buy shares within the company. It was a very, very, very interesting counter to see on the stock market. Now, the company is valued at the company's shares are valued at 4.12 trillion Ugandan shillings, and it constitutes, that's the market capitalization, and this value constitutes about 18.7% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange. Therefore, MTN, after Equity Bank, is one of the most profitable, most valuable companies on the stock market, with a total value of 4.12 in market capitalization. And when we talk about market capitalization, for starters, you'd look at the current price, which is currently 183.97 Ugandan shillings, multiplied by the shares outstanding, which are currently about 22.4 billion shares. You come up with the total capitalization of over 4.12 trillion Ugandan shillings. And when you look at that graph, yes, it's trying to put up a good fight. there was a lot of hope this week, of course, when the company hit 200 shillings, but yeah, things happened. It actually slumped back into the lower prices, but it's a promising counter with a very good activity on the market, and we hope for the very best. Now, after losing about 3.2% yesterday, MTN came from 190 shillings down to 183.97. However, MTN began the year with a price of 194.99 Ugandan shillings. And in terms of year-to-date performance, we are looking at a loss of over 5.65%. That has been shed off by the company, ranking it the 7th on the Uganda Securities Exchange in terms of year-to-date performance. MTN is the 4th most traded stock, however, within the last 3 months, that is from the 27th of May to the 31st of August 2022. And MTN has traded a total volume of 14.5 million shares that are valued at 2.75 billion shillings. We're talking 14.5 million shares that are valued at 2.75 billion shillings since the month of May to the month of August, where we are right now, as we wind up August, of course, yesterday. And you're seeing that the total traded shares on average per trading station are a total of about 230,855 shares that have been traded per trading station, and they are valued at a total of 2.75 billion within the last 3 months or so. They reached a volume high of 2.28 million shares, which was achieved on the 22nd of August within this same period. And when you look at their market performance, at least within the last couple of days, you're seeing some relatively good good tradings. You're seeing 16,050 shares yesterday. You're seeing 287 shares on the 29th of August. You're seeing 26th of August, they had 102,300 shares, and so on and so forth. And so they have had some very good activity as well. Now, why is MTN very important? Like I said, they brought into they brought a fresh breath of air into the financial markets, into the capital markets in particular here in Uganda. The fact that now you can be able to open an SCD account with a USSD code is a courtesy of the MTN Uganda counter, and therefore they're supposed to be celebrated, but as well we hope the company also improves in performance, because lately when you look at their 1 week performance, they have lost 7.22% off. And then in terms of their 4 week performance, that is 1 month, they have lost 0.56%. And then in terms of 3 months performance, they have lost 2.21%. Or while in terms of the 6 months, that's where they are gaining at over 15%. And in year-to-date performance, as we have seen, they have still lost 5.65% of their price valuation there on the stock market. Therefore, yes, very good counter, very hopeful that we will have even much better performances in the future on this counter. MTN stock today has opened at 183.97 Ugandan shillings. So you can get yourself some stock on MTN Uganda and be able to trade and transact on the counter. Thank you very much for remaining with us. You're still watching Financial Markets. I am your host, Anthony, and here we look at the stock market, we look at the debt instruments and other financial markets that are trending in East Africa, in Uganda in particular, but as well as other global stocks as well, looking at how they provide opportunities for investors to be able to grow their income and make a little more money out of their savings as well. Alltex East Africa, I would just want to remind you, is a company that is giving you a chance to invest across the debt instruments here in Africa and in East Africa in particular for now, under their ZABU initiative. By dialing *292#, you can now be able to buy and sell securities, the debt securities in particular, that is the treasury bonds and the treasury bills. You can do that by using your MTN as well. Make sure you're an MTN subscriber. When you dial *292#, they will give you a list of available securities, and that is the bonds, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years, 10 years, and so many others, depending on what you would want to have, and you will be able to buy or sell on those counters, still using your mobile money as your transaction fees can be also catered for within your mobile money at MTN. So Altex East Africa is saying you can do something new with your money by simply using your phone to be able to invest in bonds across East Africa. Bonds are a very lucrative investment right now, if I can say, for people who have patience, because the interest rates around the world have gone up, and therefore many people are running to investment into the bonds or into the debt instruments so they can be able to grab the opportunity before it goes out of hand. Because of course interest rates have gone up, therefore even the coupon rates that are returned on the treasury bonds and the treasury bills have moved within the same direction. And so we hope you can take a hold of that chance as well. Now, let's move on to KCB Bank. KCB is another loser who came out at the bottom yesterday. Now, when you look at KCB Bank, he actually lost by 32.08%. And we are seeing about 2.41% that was lost on the counter yesterday. And he came out with a total loss of 32.08 Ugandan shillings, and closed the day with a market price of 1,301.34 Ugandan shillings. This is a company that deals in the financial services sector, Kenyan-based, of course, and has subsidiaries here in Uganda as well. The bank opened for business in 2007 at Commercial Plaza in Kampala and offers fully fledged universal banking products that are tailored for the Ugandan market, while taking advantage of the emerging regional market. And so definitely investors should take on this opportunity to invest in such an institution. The bank has been listed since 2010 in October 19th, and it trades under the International Securities Identification Number KE000315. And currently it is the third most valuable stock, coming after MTN Uganda, and it has a total market capitalization of over 3.88 trillion, which is about 17.6% of the entire Uganda Securities Exchange there. KCB Bank, when you look at their graphical performance, yes, they have had ups and downs and fluctuations here and there, but when we talk about the volumes, that is still a big challenge. Not much activity has been witnessed on the counter in the past couple of weeks and even months, and so we are still hoping that the company will improve in terms of volumes traded. However, they have a total number of shares outstanding at 2.98 billion shares, with a total capitalization of 3.88 trillion Ugandan shillings as well. KCB closed the day with a price of 1,503, like we have seen, and this was following a loss, as we have seen already, and they began the year, however, with a 1,414.32 Ugandan shillings price, and have lost 7.99% of their price valuation, ranking them the 10th in terms of year-to-date performance. They last had trading last year in 2021. That was in the month of August. And yes, that definitely was about 296 shares that were traded on the counter there on KCB. Moving away from KCB Bank, the other last loser I'm going to look at here on the market, because there were quite many, but at least we can just pick out a few losers here and there. The last one we're looking at is Equity Bank Limited. Still, just like KCB Bank, is cross-listed from Nairobi, and notably this is the most valuable company on the stock market, with a total market capitalization of over 5.64 trillion. Well, yesterday they lost on their price by 17.25 Ugandan shillings, and that was a 1.12% loss, closing the day with the market price of 1,523.52 Ugandan shillings. And when you look at their performance as well, they don't have volumes traded like most cross-listed companies, and definitely the shares outstanding remaining at 3.7 billion shares. Away from Equity Bank, as I said, Stanbic Bank had the biggest volume of over 453,000 shares that were traded on the stock market. And Stanbic Bank notably has had very good active participation in the tradings around the Uganda Securities Exchange most recently. But Stanbic Bank has been listed since 2007 and trades under the ticker symbol SBU. Yesterday they didn't have any gain or loss. Rather, they had the biggest movement on the price in terms of volume, with over 435,340 shares that were traded on the stock market. And in terms of market capitalization, they are worth over about 1.07 trillion and about 51.2 billion shares that are outstanding on the counter. In terms of 4-week, they have been 4-week performance. That is the monthly performance as we wind up the month. As we, of course, finish the month of August, they were at a 4.12% gain. And in terms of the 3 months, they were at an 8.7% loss as well. And currently, they are one of the most traded stock, coming in the second position within the last 3 months, after having been able to trade over 24.2 million shares that are valued at 509 million over the period. And within an average of 348,117 shares that are traded on average per session, they have a volume high of 10.2 million shares that was traded on the 8th of August within the same period of the year. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. These are some of the people providing you with some opportunity for investment. Other traders, we had MTN trading at 16,050. We also had National Insurance Corporation, who traded 10,000 shares, and so many others. And there were 7 in number who actually had some movements in the terms of value. So there you have it. I hope this performance analysis gives you a good picture of what the trading was like yesterday on the Uganda Securities Exchange. We're going to go into another quick break. When we return, we wind up with a summary of this trading and then cross over to Nairobi Securities Exchange. Don't go anywhere, stay with us.